That feeling, the twinge in your lower back when you pick something up. It's a signal that your body has forgotten its most protective movement. This is not about stretching. This is about relearning the hip hinge. It is the single key to bulletproofing your spine and unlocking powerful, pain-free strength. Over the next hour, this will be your definitive masterclass. We will rebuild this foundational move from the ground up, so you can lift your grandkids, your groceries, and your weights with absolute confidence. This journey is about preserving your freedom, the freedom to travel, to work in the garden, to live a life that isn't defined by what you can't do. A strong, resilient back is the central pillar from which all other strength radiates. Yet for many, it becomes a source of constant caution. We accept stiffness as a simple part of getting older. But what if that's a myth? What if the problem is a simple, forgotten movement pattern we all knew as children, but that decades of sitting has slowly erased? Reclaiming this one pattern is the most powerful investment you can make in your physical independence. If you're looking for practical, foundational knowledge to build a stronger life, consider subscribing. We focus on the science of moving well for men who plan to stay in motion for decades to come. To find the solution, we must first truly understand the problem. Imagine your spine as a stack of building blocks, your vertebrae. Between each block is a soft, gel-filled cushion called a disc, which acts as a shock absorber. These discs are incredibly resilient, but they have a specific vulnerability. They are most at risk when the spine is bent forward and under load simultaneously. Think of a jelly donut. Squeezed evenly, it holds its shape. But if you pinch one side, the jelly is forced out the other. Bending from your lower back is like pinching the front of that donut. The pressure forces the soft inner material toward the back, right where your sensitive nerves are. This movement is called lumbar flexion. It's the pattern that, over time, can lead to strains, bulges, and chronic lower back pain. So, if bending from the spine is the problem, what is the body's intended solution? The answer lies just below, in the most powerful joint you possess, your hips. Your hips are a ball and socket joint designed for a massive range of motion and incredible force production. They are surrounded by your body's engine, your glutes and hamstrings. These muscles are built to lift. When you bend correctly, you don't round your spine, you hinge at your hips. You push your hips backward, keeping your spine relatively straight, and load those powerful glute and hamstring muscles. The spine simply goes along for the ride in a safe, neutral position. One movement pattern invites injury, the other builds strength and resilience. How could we have forgotten something so fundamental? The answer is surprisingly simple: the chair. As a toddler, you picked up toys with a perfect squat or a perfect hinge, instinctively. Then came school, cars, and desks. In a seated position, your powerful hip muscles are turned off. Your body slowly learns a new, faulty default pattern. It learns to initiate bending from the spine because the hips have become tight and dormant. Over decades, this faulty pattern becomes deeply ingrained. We forget how to use our own engine. The result is a body that asks the delicate structures of the lower back to do a job meant for the massive muscles of the hips. But the good news is this pattern is not lost forever. It's simply asleep. We can reawaken it. It takes focus, but it is one of the most worthwhile investments you will ever make in your health. The first step is to feel what a neutral spine is. A neutral spine isn't ramrod straight. It has natural curves. We just need to avoid creating excessive, unsafe curves when we bend. For this, you need an honest coach, not a person, but a simple tool, a broomstick, a yardstick, or a piece of PVC pipe. This tool will give you instant, undeniable feedback. Stand tall, feet shoulder-width apart. Place the dowel vertically along your back. One end touches the back of your head, the middle rests between your shoulder blades, the bottom end must touch your tailbone. Hold it there with one hand behind your neck and the other in the small of your back. You now have 3 points of contact: head, upper back, and tailbone. The entire goal of the hip hinge is to bend forward without losing a single one of them. If your head comes off, you're looking down. If your tailbone lifts away, you're rounding your lower back, the exact mistake we're here to fix. Now, let's initiate the movement. Soften your knees slightly. They should never be locked straight. The movement does not start by bending the knees. It starts by pushing your hips straight back. Imagine trying to tap a wall a few feet behind you with your backside. Send your hips backward and your torso will naturally lean forward. Your chest will begin to face the floor. But what is the dowel telling you? You must maintain all 3 points of contact. Head, upper back, and tailbone remain pressed against it. Go slowly. Only go as far as you can while keeping those 3 points locked in. This might be a much smaller range of motion than you expect, and that's perfect. We are retraining a pattern, not testing your flexibility. Can you feel that tension loading into your hamstrings, the muscles on the back of your thighs? That is the signal you're doing it right. That is the feeling of your body's engine loading like a spring. To return, don't pull with your back. Squeeze your glute muscles and drive your hips forward back to the start. The spine stays stable. The hips do the work. Let's repeat that with intention. Stand tall, feet set, dowel in place, checking your 3 points of contact. Soften the knees. Now begin by pushing your hips to the wall behind you. Your torso angles forward. Check your contact points mentally. Is your head still touching? Is your tailbone still secure? Feel the tension building in the back of your legs. Hold for a moment at the bottom. Now squeeze your glutes. Drive your hips forward until you are standing tall again. Perform 5 slow, deliberate repetitions like this. Rushing is your enemy. This is a brain exercise, not a strength test. You are paving a new neural pathway, reminding your body of its strongest design. If you feel that tailbone lift off the stick, you've gone too far into a dangerous range. Stop, reset, and try again with less depth. Perfect form is the only goal, because perfect form is what builds the foundation for a truly bulletproof back. Make this simple drill a daily practice. Once the dowel drill feels familiar, we can use a different tool, one that every house has, a wall. The wall provides a physical target, making the abstract idea of pushing your hips back completely concrete. Stand with your back to a wall about 6 to 12 inches away, feet shoulder-width apart. Place your hands on your hips. Keeping your spine long and straight, imagining the dowel is still there, push your hips back until you gently tap the wall. The goal is a light touch, not a heavy lean. As soon as you make contact, reverse the motion. Squeeze your glutes and drive your hips forward to a standing position. Your knees will have a soft bend, but the primary movement must be the backward travel of your hips. Your torso and shins should become roughly parallel at the bottom of the movement, a classic sign of a well-executed hinge. Why is the wall drill so effective? It forces you to complete the most important part of the movement, the full backward push of the hips. Many people try to hinge but only bend over, failing to shift their weight back. The wall gives you an undeniable target. It guarantees you are loading the posterior chain, the powerful group of muscles on the backside of your body. If the drill feels easy, take a small step forward, increasing the distance to the wall. This demands a greater range of motion and a deeper stretch in your hamstrings. This is how you progress. Try 10 slow, controlled wall taps. Focus on the feeling of touching the wall, then immediately driving the hips forward. This drill builds on the dowel's foundation. You've learned what a neutral spine feels like. Now you're learning how to move your hips to preserve it. A few minutes each day with this drill can fundamentally change how you move. Now that we have trained the pattern with external cues, it is time to perform the movement on its own. This is the body weight hip hinge, the true test. This will become your go-to warm-up, your daily mobility drill, and the foundation for every loaded movement we discuss later. Stand with your feet between hip and shoulder width apart, knees soft. Place your hands on your hips to feel the joint move, or behind your head to encourage a proud chest. Now, just as before, push your hips straight back. Imagine you are trying to bump a car door shut with your rear. Let your torso fold forward, keeping your back as flat and solid as a tabletop. How low should you go? Only as low as you can without your back starting to round. You should feel a clear stretch in your hamstrings. That is your end range. Pause at the bottom. Then, drive your hips forward with power, squeezing your glutes at the top to return to a fully upright stance. Let's integrate breathing, the secret to core stability. As you push your hips back and lower your torso, take a deep breath in. Brace your abdominal muscles as if you were about to be gently pushed in the stomach. This is called creating intra-abdominal pressure. It acts like a natural weightlifting belt, forming a rigid, stable cylinder around your spine. Then, as you drive your hips forward to stand up, exhale with force. Inhale on the way down, brace, and exhale on the way up. This breathing pattern is a non-negotiable part of lifting safely. For now, just practice it with your body weight. 10 repetitions. Inhale down, exhale up. Feel the rhythm. This isn't just a mechanical exercise. It's about full body integration. Your brain commands the pattern, your hips drive the movement, your hamstrings load and unload, and your core provides the stable platform for it all. Mastering the body weight hip hinge is the key that unlocks the door to lasting functional strength. Now, let's connect this practice to your actual life. The goal isn't to be good at an exercise, it's to be good at living. The most common daily test is picking something up. Imagine a bag of groceries on the floor. The old habit is to stoop over, rounding your back. This places all the strain on your vulnerable lumbar spine. The new way, the hinge way, is a source of strength. Approach the bag, getting your feet on either side of it. Now, push your hips back, just as we practiced. Keep your back flat. Lower your torso until you can grip the handles. Your legs and hips are now loaded. To lift, do not pull with your back. Drive your feet through the floor and thrust your hips forward, standing up tall. You should feel your glutes and hamstrings do all the work. Your back simply acted as a rigid lever, transferring force safely. This simple shift transforms a risky movement into a strength-building one. Think about other daily tasks. Gardening. Instead of bending at the waist for an hour, practice hinging. You can support yourself by placing one hand on your knee, taking even more strain off your back. Tying your shoes. Instead of slumping over, try a single-leg hip hinge. Stand on one leg and hinge at the hip, letting your other leg float back as a counterbalance. This not only protects your back, but also builds tremendous balance and stability. Getting something from a low cabinet. Hinge. Loading the dishwasher. Hinge. Every time you bend forward, you have a choice. You can default to the old, risky spinal flexion, or you can choose the powerful, safe hip hinge. At first, it will require conscious thought, but with practice, it will become your new, unconscious habit. This is how you bulletproof your back, not for 1 hour a week, but for every moment of your life. Every bend becomes an opportunity to reinforce strength. What if you're trying this and something feels off? A common roadblock is tight hamstrings. If you've spent decades sitting, the muscles on the back of your thighs can become short. When you try to hinge, these tight muscles can pull your pelvis under, causing your lower back to round. It's a frustrating but fixable problem. The solution is simple: bend your knees more. The hip hinge is not a straight leg exercise. A soft knee is mandatory, but you may need a more generous bend. Bending your knees reduces the stretch on the hamstrings, giving your pelvis more freedom to tilt forward correctly. This allows you to push your hips further back while keeping your spine safe. The goal is not a perfect stiff-legged lift. The goal is to learn the hip hinge pattern. As your flexibility improves, you may find you can perform the movement with straighter legs. For now, bend your knees as much as needed to keep your back flat. A bent knee hinge is infinitely better than a straight leg bend. Another crucial detail is core engagement. We practiced breathing and bracing, but why is it so vital? Let's feel it again. Stand tall and place your hands on your sides, just above your hips. Now cough once. Feel those muscles under your fingers contract? That is a braced core. Now try to create that same tension without coughing. Tighten your stomach, your sides, and your lower back all at once, as if preparing for an impact. This muscular wall stabilizes your spine from all sides. This is the feeling you want to have at the bottom of your hip hinge. As you push your hips back, inhale and create this tension. This turns your torso into a solid, unshakable block. Then you can exhale as you stand. Functional core strength isn't about sit-ups. It's about the ability to resist unwanted movement and protect the spine. The hip hinge is one of the best exercises on earth for building this kind of stabilizing strength. Up to this point, we've built the entire foundation with only body weight. Mastering this is a huge victory for your back. But to truly build strength that lasts, to make your body more resilient, we need to add resistance. We need to challenge the muscles of the hips and hamstrings to adapt and grow stronger. This is where we introduce a light weight, and the perfect starting tool is a kettlebell or a single dumbbell. The exercise we will master is the kettlebell deadlift, which is simply our weighted hip hinge. The beauty of this movement is that the weight is held between your legs, close to your center of gravity. This makes it one of an exceptionally safe ways to lift from the floor. We begin with a very light weight. The goal is not to lift heavy, but to prove to your brain that the perfect hinge pattern remains safe under load. Let's set up for our first kettlebell deadlift. Place the kettlebell on the floor between your feet. Position your feet about shoulder width apart, with the handle of the kettlebell in line with the middle of your feet. Now, perform the hip hinge we have practiced. Push your hips straight back. Keep your back flat as a board. Bend your knees enough to lower your torso and grip the handle with both hands. Pull your shoulders back and down away from your ears. Your gaze should be on the floor a few feet ahead, keeping your neck long. You should feel tension in your hamstrings and glutes. This is your starting position. Before you even think about lifting, take a deep breath in and brace your core. Create that tension. Now, to lift, do not pull with your arms. Think about one thing: standing up. Drive your feet into the floor and thrust your hips forward powerfully. The force comes from your legs and hips. Squeeze your glutes hard as you stand tall with the kettlebell. To lower the weight is to reverse the motion with absolute control. This is not a drop. Initiate by pushing your hips back. Let the kettlebell travel down the same path it came up, keeping it close to your body. Maintain that flat back until the kettlebell gently touches the floor. Let go and stand back up. That is one perfect repetition. Notice the movement is identical to the body weight hinge. The rules do not change. The back stays flat, the hips do the work, the core stays braced. Let's try a set of 5 repetitions with a light weight. Set up carefully, hinge to the bell, brace, drive your hips forward to stand. Hinge back to lower the bell with control. A gentle tap on the floor, not a loud thud, is the sign of control. This single movement strengthens your grip, your entire back, your core, your glutes, and your hamstrings all at once. It's the ultimate builder of real-world strength. But what if you don't own a kettlebell? The principles are universal. You can perform the exact same movement with a dumbbell. Either place one dumbbell on its end and grip the top with both hands, or use 2 dumbbells, one on the outside of each foot. The pattern remains the same. Hinge, maintain a flat back, grip the weights, and drive your hips forward. Another superb variation is the Romanian deadlift, or RDL. With the RDL, you do not place the weight on the floor between reps. You start standing tall, holding 1 or 2 dumbbells in front of your thighs. From there, you perform a hip hinge, pushing your hips back and letting the weight slide down the front of your legs. How low do you go? Only as low as you can while maintaining a perfectly flat back. This will likely be around mid-shin level. You will feel a very deep stretch in your hamstrings. Then you drive your hips forward to the start. The RDL is a fantastic tool for building muscle and control, teaching you to own the entire range of motion. When adding weight, it's easy to fall into a few common traps. Let's expose them now so you can avoid them. The first and most dangerous is letting the back round. As soon as a weight feels heavy, old habits can reappear. You must be your own best coach. If you feel or see your lower back curve, the weight is too heavy.
put it down. Go lighter or return to body weight and reinforce perfect form. Your ego will not build a stronger back, but perfect reps will. The second mistake is letting the weight drift away from you. The kettlebell or dumbbells should almost graze your shins. The further the weight is from your body, the more strain it places on your lower back. Keep it close. This ensures the load stays on your powerful hips. A third error is yanking the weight with your arms or back. The lift should feel like a powerful push from the ground up. Your arms are just ropes connecting your hands to the weight. They stay relatively straight. The power comes from your legs pushing the floor away and your hips thrusting forward. It's a leg exercise that strengthens your back, not a back pulling exercise. Finally, many people overextend at the top, leaning back and arching their spine. The movement is finished when you are standing tall and straight with your glutes squeezed tight. Don't lean back. Just stand tall, proud, and stable. Avoiding these mistakes ensures every repetition makes your back more resilient, not more vulnerable.
Now, let's address some critical questions. What if you have pre-existing back issues like arthritis or a past injury? The most important first step is to consult with your doctor or a qualified physical therapist. They know your specific history. The hip hinge is often a core part of rehabilitation because it teaches you to deload the spine. However, you must start with a very limited range of motion. Perhaps your hinge only moves a few inches. That is a perfect start. Listen to your body. There should never sharp pain. You are looking for a feeling of muscular work and a gentle stretch, not a painful pinch. Never push through a sharp signal from your body. The goal is to work within a pain-free range and gradually expand it. Another frequent concern is knee pain. For some, any bending can be irritating. Remember, the hinge is primarily a backward motion, not a downward one like a squat, which places much less stress on the knees. If you do feel discomfort, ensure your feet are pointing mostly straight ahead and that your knees are tracking in line with your toes as you hinge, not collapsing inward. You can also limit the range of motion to what feels comfortable for both your back and your knees. A partial hinge with perfect form is still incredibly beneficial. Often, strengthening the glutes and hamstrings through the hinge can actually improve knee stability over time by providing better support for the joint. But the rule is absolute. Listen to your body. And what about stiffness? The idea of this movement might seem impossible if you wake up feeling locked up. But this is where the hinge is so powerful. Performed slowly and without weight, the hinge is a dynamic stretch. It actively warms and lengthens tight hamstrings. It encourages blood flow to the muscles of the lower back and hips. You don't need to be flexible to start hinging. The hinge itself, done gently and consistently, is what will build your flexibility. Think of a rusty door hinge. You work it back and forth a little further each time until it moves freely. Your hips are no different. A few minutes of gentle bodyweight hinges in the morning can be one of the best ways to prepare your back for the day. So, how do we put this all together into a simple, actionable plan? Consistency beats intensity every time. Here is a 5-minute daily routine to build and maintain your bulletproof back. Think of it as brushing your teeth for your spine. First, start with 5 slow, perfect repetitions of the dowel drill. This is your daily calibration to remind your body what perfect feels like. Second, perform 10 wall taps. This reinforces the main engine of the movement, the backward drive of the hips. Third, perform 10 bodyweight hip hinges. No dowel, no wall. This internalizes the pattern, making it your own. That's it. That's the daily practice. This 5-minute routine will have a profound impact. Then, 2 or 3 times a week, you can add the strength component. After your 5-minute warm-up, perform 2 or 3 sets of 8 to 12 repetitions of the kettlebell or dumbbell deadlift. Choose a weight that is challenging but allows you to maintain perfect form on every single rep. The moment your form begins to degrade, the set is over. This combination of daily practice and regular strengthening is the formula. The daily routine maintains mobility and reinforces the pattern. The strength sessions build the muscle and resilience. This isn't a quick fix. It's a long-term strategy for moving well so you can continue to live well with strength and confidence. You now have the knowledge. You have the drills and the plan. You understand the difference between a movement that weakens your back and the one foundational pattern that makes it stronger. The secret was never a magic pill or a complicated machine. It was a movement you were born with, waiting to be rediscovered. Reclaiming the hip hinge is about more than avoiding pain. It's about taking back control. It's about refusing to accept that aging means becoming fragile. It's about building a body that allows you to say yes to life. The journey begins with a single, mindful repetition. It starts with a broomstick and the decision to move better.
Your task now is simple. Don't just absorb this information. Apply it. Find a broomstick right now and perform your first 5 reps. Feel the 3 points of contact. Feel your hips move backward. This is the first step on the path to a stronger you. If this detailed, practical approach to building a capable body is what you've been looking for, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. We are committed to providing science-backed, no-nonsense guides to help you stay strong and active for life. The power to change how you move is in your hands. The choice to build a stronger future is yours to make. Start today. Your back will thank you for it.